Hello there, and welcome to the Yessie and Jessie podcast. It's Jess. I am back for another episode. I believe this is 8 or 9 at this point. I decided I would do a video. I can't sleep, so we're gonna do an impromptu podcast as we always do. This is not in my other video. In my other video, I talked about my first pregnancy, symptoms of my first pregnancy, things like that. If I want to have more kids. I talked about my symptoms. I talked about what it was like for the 9 months of me being pregnant. I had my daughter almost to 40 weeks. I was like 38 and some change. And then I had a few blood transfusions, because I lost a lot of blood, had a lot of complications, preeclampsia, you get the point. So I thought that I could have preeclampsia again. So I did find out I was pregnant, not too long ago, and I do not know the gender yet, but I did want to record a video talking about mostly what I talked about with my first, with the symptoms and things like that. But now I went for more testing though, as I'm getting further along in my pregnancy. Everything is going fine so far, and all of the bases are covered because of what happened with my last pregnancy. So I wanted to make extra sure that everything was put in place so that doesn't happen again. So we've been doing all this testing, we've been having all these extra scans and stuff, like I had them with my first, but we're mostly doubling down on what we were doing with the first, with this one. So less complications, or if we're going to have complications, manage them now. For instance, they put me, not now, but they're going to put me on in the future, like a baby aspirin, so I don't have preeclampsia again, hopefully. But I had testing done last week, and the testing came back, and everything was pretty, okay. Everything's fine. There's no issues. However, they did test me, and I came back for the anti-Kell, Kell, antibodies. And for those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, because I had absolutely no idea what this was when I first seen it on my test results, I didn't necessarily think it was anything bad. I just seen it on there, and I was a little weirded out, and then I read where it said, from blood transfusions, and then it all made sense. So, I've been doing a lot of research lately, and I wanted to kind of talk to you guys, and, let you know what's going on, and then also, since I do talk a lot about, child rearing, pregnancy, mental health, medical issues, I figured I would give you a little tidbit on what that is, what it can entail for your pregnancy, what it can entail for your child and when they're born, and what it can do for future pregnancies, because that also I did not know. I didn't know anything before I tested positive for this. Okay, so it's a lot to unpack. So before I spoke to my doctor, and called them and tried to get some more answers and what we should do moving forward. I looked a little bit into it by myself, which probably is not a good idea, never trust Google. But on Google, I got the gist of what it was. So, essentially, anti-Kell is something that you can get, or your baby can have it, and I guess you don't have it. But in my case, I got this from I had 4 blood transfusions. I had 4 liters of blood transfused into my body, as well as I had iron transfusions and stuff. I don't know if you can get that from that too. I'm assuming you can. I don't know. But yeah, I got it from that. And they do not test for this. This is what I found out. They do not test for this. When you go to donate blood, they do not test for anti-Kell because it is not cost effective. That was the term that they used. It's not cost effective to research into this. So they don't test for it. And then I got my blood transfusions, and now I have this. So I didn't think it would be, it wouldn't be an issue if I was not pregnant because so now that I have that antibody, my body will or can, it doesn't always, it depends on your level of the anti-Kell antibodies, but your body can attack the child, when you're pregnant. And what can happen is that your body will attack the baby, and then the baby in turn can be anemic. And to the level of anemia, it's kind of just like mostly if they are doing all this testing, which if you're diagnosed with this and they look at your levels, because they'll test you for it, but then after that they test your levels, and then from there they kind of see, okay, so is the baby going to need blood transfusions or not? Is there any, there's a couple other therapies that they use, where like you can give blood to the baby. I guess they do some like teetering process or something. So yeah, so your baby can essentially be anemic before it's even born. And they can do transfusions in utero, and yeah. Now, again, they might not need these transfusions if they're not anemic to a point, that they need that. But even if they are okay when the baby comes out, when you give birth, they still might need blood transfusions. So, and then also, which now I am questioning my last pregnancy, I did have preeclampsia. I didn't test for this antibody. I don't even know if they tested me for it, because they didn't test me for a couple other things that they're now testing me for with this pregnancy. But preeclampsia, I had my baby. She had jaundice for probably like a week or two after I had her. Her bilirubin levels were really high. And then when we left the hospital, they were like, okay, they're like going down a little bit now. So we're not going to have to give her like the lights at the hospital, like the photo treatment. So her levels went down. They tested her a couple of days after and stuff like that, and continued to test her, and she was fine. But she looked very orangey, yellow. Think Donald Trump. I'm not even kidding you. Donald Trump orange for like 2-3 weeks. But now that has me, questioning, did I get this anti-Kel? Do I just carry it? But like, I wonder, since it can cause jaundice and it can cause like anemia and things like that, I'm wondering if maybe this was a problem with my first pregnancy. I don't know. It's just kind of weird that can be symptoms of that, and then also that's what happened with my first daughter. But my husband, my ex-husband, his family, though, jaundice does seem to run in his family. His two sisters, and another sister that unfortunately passed away, had jaundice at birth. So I don't know. There's so many possibilities. I'll know more in the future. But yeah, this anti-Kel thing, there's a lot of testing that has to be done, and they can do, like I said, transfusions and things like that. But I am overall very worried, because I had a very rough, not necessarily pregnancy last time, but I did have a rough like end of my pregnancy in like the 8th, 9th month mark. And I'm really not looking forward to having something like that happen again. In this pregnancy, what I'm more concerned about is that I'm gonna be okay, which was something that didn't happen last time. I was unresponsive at some points, like, but my baby was fine. There were some cause for concern in the beginning, but overall, my daughter was fine. Now with this, though, there can be a thing called hydrops, like fetal hydrops. And if this anti-Kel antibodies continue to go up, and my levels continue to go up, that means that I would need to take precautions and keep my levels down. I really don't know what this is going to entail for the rest of, the next 7 months. I'm very scared. Everybody else is very nonchalant right now, because we are in the like, well, what if it's not as bad? What if it is as bad phase? when I was speaking to the doctor's office, nobody really like understood what I was asking about either at first, because I was like, "Hey, there's a few things that are they're not looking great on my blood work." And then I was like, "I also seen this, and can you send in a message?" And yeah, and they did it. But then the other people, they even said themselves, they don't really know how this works. I feel like a lot of people get blood transfusions nowadays. But I don't know. I guess this is not like a very common thing. So I am already scheduled with a genetic counselor, and I'm already scheduled with maternal fetal medicine. So I'm in the right direction. But now I think I might be seeing them more frequently. Um, and it's also very stressful for me too, because like I said, I'm about 10 weeks right now. And my worry, my concern is always, until you get to about, I think it's the 18 to 24 week mark, miscarriages are a thing. And not only that, I mean, I find out the gender way sooner than I did with my last daughter. They didn't do the testing that they're doing now. When I find out the gender, I will be. I think they said it'll be like 12 weeks. It's like 2 weeks from now I go for that. So with my first daughter, I didn't get to find out until like 20 to 24 weeks, and that was at an ultrasound. They do blood work now to show you what the gender is. You don't need to wait for the ultrasound. So I thought that was interesting, but it also, it makes me more nervous because like I said, they're doing it sooner now. So that means that I'm going to find out the gender, and then I'm just going to be stressed because I'm like, okay, this is like, I know it's a real baby, but like once you find out the gender, you usually start buying stuff. People usually start like buying stuff for you, like clothes and everything, or like, saying my little boy or my little girl, whatever. It makes it more real. So if something were to happen after I find out the gender, I think I would be more heartbroken. Not saying that I wouldn't be heartbroken right now if something happened. I'm just saying that like it makes it much more real that you're having a child, and I don't know, it's just scary for me. But I'm doing everything. I'm taking all the precautions, and I'm just hanging in there. I'm really trying to limit my stress right now as I am going through a divorce. Still, it's been a year. It's been over a year almost. When this video comes out, it'll be well over a year that I have been doing divorce proceedings and not seeing my daughter. I'm just immensely stressed with the fact that I have not had an overnight with my daughter, and she has not stayed at my house overnight. I moved in August. That was about 6 months ago. So, over 7 months ago. Have not had an overnight, and every week I drive 120 miles to go up to her house, come back here, and then another 120 miles to go back to her house and drop her off with her father, and then come back to my house. That is 240 miles in one day, $70 worth of gas, sometimes more. And if I wanted to see her for more than one day for that week, I would have to drive another 240 miles and waste $70. It's not really wasting, but pay another $70 in gas just to see my daughter for 2 days for like 7 hours. You have to think we spend an hour, I spend an hour driving up there, and then me and her both spend an hour driving back, and then we do that again to bring her home. It is very stressful. I'm not looking forward to it when I am heavily pregnant and have to be sitting in my truck. That's very uncomfortable for me. It's comfortable for my dad, but not for me. It's not the greatest thing. It's pretty wonky. Anyhow, and I'm gonna have to hoist myself up in there. That's the least of my worries. But yeah, no, I'm nervous because I don't get to see my daughter as it is, and once the baby's here, that'll be about in the middle of August, and who knows if this. I don't think this will still continue the divorce proceedings. I think it'll be done by then. However, if I have to appeal, it might be until August, and then I'm going to be 8 or 9 months pregnant, having to do all of this motion paperwork. It's not something to look forward to. And then on top of that, who knows if my daughter will even be around to see her brother or sister. Like, I'm fighting so hard right now. I know this podcast is supposed to be about the baby, but like this is a lot. This is a lot to do, I feel like, with my pregnancy, because my mental standpoint has been very good this entire year of the proceedings going on. I found out I was pregnant, and I've been very emotional. I was emotional even before I found out I was pregnant, and that's why I knew I was pregnant. I was having like mood swings and things like that because as much as my ex would like to say I'm being like ridiculous or dramatic, it's true. He took my daughter from me. I left in August. I have not been in the same household as my daughter since August. Even before then, my ex, he was taking my daughter from the house. So I haven't really spent time with her in a really long time. And it gets to you. Like, I'm having a whole nother child, and it's hard for me not to feel like I'm like abandoning my other child by having this baby. Like, I feel like she's missing out, or she's going to miss out. I want her to be around and not have to adjust to this so suddenly when the baby arrives. And I'm trying to, my eyes twitching. I'm trying so hard to have her involved, but at the same time, I have to kind of gatekeep what I say because my ex-husband will create an issue of it. When the only issue that should be created is, why is my daughter not seeing me, and why is she going to be distant from her, blood relative that I'm going to be having? But that's something he doesn't want to discuss, and you know what? That's his prerogative. I've tried so many times with this man. That's besides the point. I just really hope that my daughter, I wanted her to come to the next scan, but unfortunately I don't have enough time to go pick her up because I have work that day, and then I have to go there after work, and it's just not gonna work out to like logistically go there and stuff, and like I don't want to bring her to work for 6 hours that day, So yeah, but I did show her, I showed her pictures, and I've told her, I said, hey, you're gonna have a sibling. She wants a sister. She's really excited. She keeps saying, I'm gonna be a big sister. And she keeps, saying the baby's in mommy's stomach. The first day that I told her this, I explained to her, you're gonna have a sibling. And she already knew, I guess from like the TV shows she watches, or I don't know if somebody's pregnant, like around my ex-husband, but she was like, no, that's a baby's in mommy's tummy, and it grows up and da 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 da. So she gets the gist of it, and she's very excited. She keeps talking about it, and my ex has absolutely no idea what she's talking about, which is even funnier, like, because he doesn't need to know. Like, honestly, if I did not have my daughter, he would know absolutely nothing about my life, because I just want to be distanced from him. But because I have my daughter, I try to involve him in as much as I possibly can, aside from, me having a baby, because that's none of his business. But yeah, so the cats, this time, now that I'm pregnant, my cat Lucy was very upset. Last time I was pregnant, she was very angry. I don't know if it was the hormones, I'm assuming. So this time she's been pretty chill. Everybody, all the cats have been pretty chill. Yeah, I mean, I've been feeling tired now. I've been having some nausea here and there, but it's mostly when I don't eat that much. And, just trying to keep myself busy. Like, I have a lot of paperwork for like I've been saying, it's very stressful. I have so much paperwork to do all of the time because I'm representing myself in court. I do not have an attorney. I tried to obtain an attorney and could not pay for it. And I tried to have a GoFundMe, and then my ex and his lawyer had me take that down. So that was fun. Thanks. But yeah, so because he doesn't want to hear the truth. But yeah, I've been very stressed. All of this has been happening in the holidays, and I have family issues going on. My father is not doing well, and all of that jazz. On a lighter note, my sibling haven't talked to in 6 years. I found them on Facebook and seen that they're doing really well, so I'm happy. We don't talk, like I said, but I'm really excited that they're doing well and like they're living their life as best as they can. I feel like me and them both deserve it. I'm relatively happy, minus everything. I've been, seeing my doctors on a regular basis, which makes me happy because that means all of my issues are in check and I don't have to constantly call people. Um, I've been trying to get back into my hobbies. Uh, I've been trying my hardest to just find things to occupy my time because I feel like this entire year has been overshadowed by a lot of anger, sadness, and just paperwork or proceedings, just going through the motions, essentially, no pun intended. And I'm really hoping that this year, because like I said, I found out this like right before Christmas. It was probably the best Christmas gift I could have gotten. I found out with my first daughter that I was pregnant like January 1st or January 4th or something. So that was, I got to experience like a whole year, from pregnancy until having her and then the holidays after. And that's kind of the same thing that's going to happen with this. I'm really excited. I found out, before Christmas, and I got to, spend the holidays with people, and they were so excited that I was pregnant. Lucy, what's your problem? You look real angry right now. Ethel's under the rug that I just bought. But yeah, I got to spend it with family. I got to spend it with, the dad, duh, of course. And I was just so happy. Then I went through kind of a phase where I was pretty upset because I have this, settlement panel and stuff that I have to go through for court and the divorce. But now it's getting to a point where, the paperwork is manageable and I'm going back to, okay, this is like I'm really excited, even though, I just found out all this stuff for the anti-cal stuff. I feel like I have everything like down, like everything with this pregnancy is going really well compared to my last one. Everything was up in the air. Yes, I was happy last time and I wasn't sick or anything, but I wasn't educated either. I had no idea what was going to go on at the end of my pregnancy. At least now I'm like, okay, I have this idea, which is awful. It's this awful idea of what the end of my pregnancy is going to look like, but at least I have an idea and I can plan. And now that I've planned out more stuff in the beginning, that gives me more time to be excited and happy. I've been doing some little clothes shopping when I get a chance. When I have a little extra money, I'll go to like the thrift store and find some stuff. I've been getting all of my ducks in a row, trying to get formula samples and all that stuff, like all the stuff that you get excited for, nesting, that's not right now immediately, but I've gotten a few things and went through my daughter's old things so I can use some of those if it's a girl. I'm super excited. I really hope it's a girl. But yeah, this was just like a very rambly podcast. I mean, I just wanted to, like I said, get on here and tell you guys what's going on. I've been like kind of just throwing myself into my work. I work part-time, and I'm home the rest of the time, but I've been really just like trying to enjoy work because when I'm at home, I'm always doing paperwork or cleaning the house, and that gives me a lot of time, especially when you're working on paperwork that's for custody resolution, I guess. But yeah, it's really not, it's not only is it not productive, but like, I just think of my daughter all day, because my time was spent during my marriage. My time was spent with my daughter, and raising her and being with her all day. And even when my ex came home, I'd still be with her and do the little bedtime routine, or like, she started sleeping in my bed, so bedtime routine was just essentially like all night, because you're tending to her and she's going through sleep regression, stuff like that. I miss all of that. I so miss all of that. I would not trade it, and I really wish that that was what was happening right now, but instead I just have to be at work and focus on the regular customers. And when the kids come in there, I'll buy them like a cookie or something to make essentially me feel better, because I don't have my daughter. But I look forward to just the little things nowadays, and that's all I can do for right now. But like right now, for instance, yeah, Ethel, I bought a runner for my here, I don't know if I can show it. I bought a runner for the front door. Oops, bought a runner, and yeah, Ethel is now under it. And then Freya is right here, and then Lucy's over there. But yeah, I've been trying to spend more time with my cats. I don't want them to feel left out when the baby gets here. I don't want to cause any behavioral problems, because that's what happened last time, and we don't want that. But yeah, once I have more information, once I get further along in my pregnancy, I plan on doing a video just talking about, sorry, I'm petting Freya. I'm video doing maybe like my cravings, symptoms, how much weight I gained and lost, because that was something last time that I was like, Jesus. But yeah, I just I'll update you guys another time, and I'll talk to you later. Follow me on Facebook, Jess Estrada. If you would like to see what I'm up to on a daily, weekly basis. I try to upload on YouTube as much as I can, but I don't really upload shorts and videos as frequently as I used to. So yeah, check out my Facebook and TikTok, same, Jess Estrada. Instagram, Yessie and Jessie with 2 eyes at the end. And I'll see you later.